What's going on, guys? So today we're going to talk about 5 ways to improve your photography. So these are things for me that I feel like have just really helped me level up and just take better images. So let's talk about it. First off, notification squad, where you at? Hashtag A-Team in the comment section. I want to see who's up in here, who's been enjoying the videos. And if you're new to the channel, my name is Adrian. We talk about everything photography related on this channel, even covering the business side of photography. So if you're interested in that type of content, consider subscribing. All right, so let's get into this topic. So the number one thing, I think this is probably the most important. If it's not the most important, it's definitely at the top. If you want to improve your photography, you need to understand lighting. Lighting is very, very, very important. You have to understand lighting. You have to understand how to shoot in different lighting situations. Lighting is one of those things, if you don't know how to position your clients and just how to manage certain types of lighting, whether it's, shade, harsh lighting, just whatever it is, then your photographs are gonna come out messed up. Trust me, I've been there so many times where, I really didn't have a good grasp on understanding lighting, and it completely messed up my photos. So it's just one of those things, like, once you can understand lighting, it's gonna take your photography to another level, because you're gonna understand exactly what to do when you're put in different lighting situations. So another thing about lighting is it's always going to change. Not always, super bright. It's not always good lighting. Sometimes the lighting is horrible and you have to know what to do, whether it's, adding some kind of additional light with flash, or, just positioning your couple in a certain position. So it's one of those things that you just have to know when it comes to photography. And I feel like the only way you can get better with understanding lighting is just putting yourself in different situations. Maybe, if you're not having a lot of shoots and you just need more practice, just practice around the house or go outside during different lighting situations to see exactly what you need to do to get the shots that you're looking for. So I just want to give you an example. So when we were first starting with, shooting weddings, I was watching a lot of YouTube videos, and I knew from watching videos that I was going to be placed in a situation where the lighting, was going to be low light and the light wasn't going to be the best. So what I did was kind of mimic that around the house and, play around with my settings and just take shots to see, exactly what I need to do when I'm put in that situation. So I think lighting is one of those things where you just have to be proactive and practice and put yourself in these different situations so you know what to do, because one of the worst things that can happen is you're in a situation and you have no idea what to do. So you don't want to be in a situation like that. So make sure you're practicing and just doing what you can so you can really understand different lighting situations. All right, so coming in at number 2, we have pay attention to your backgrounds. Listen, y'all, I cannot tell you how important this is, and I feel like I'm gonna keep saying how important something is, because all of these tips are important, but your backgrounds are everything. I feel like this is another thing that can make or break your shots. I don't care how beautiful your subject looks or just the lighting looks in the photo. If the background is just cluttered and messy and you just have things that mess up your composition and they just don't look pleasing, then it can ruin the shot, I feel like. So something that has helped me and my wife with this is we usually go to locations way ahead of time, and we just kind of scout that location out just to get a feel for where we're gonna shoot at, and just, looking at the location to see what we're working with, instead of just showing up to the shoot and start shooting immediately and not having that chance to kind of, look for the backgrounds we want to use and stuff like that. And also another big tip with this, and this has really helped me a lot, I feel like just slowing down. That's one thing that has really helped my photography. I feel like it's just, instead of just trying to be so quick, because I used to always feel this pressure of just trying to be quick, and I felt like if I was moving slow, it would look like I didn't know what I was doing. But just slowing everything down, maybe taking a couple shots and looking back on my camera and seeing that, I have distracting cars in the background or a big trash can or something like that. So that's very important, to just slow down, take a look at what you're doing, slow down, frame your shots, fix things on your client's clothes. Maybe something is sticking out, they have their phone in their pocket. So slow down with your photography and you'll see that you're gonna get better shots, trust me. All right, so coming in at number 3, we got composition. Composition is so important. And when I first started, I didn't really truly understand composition. So what composition is, I'll try to explain it in a simple way. I don't want to get too technical with it, but it's pretty much how everything is arranged within the frame. So, you know, where your subject is placed and just things that you have in your frame, that's a part of the composition. So when I first started, I had a habit of, you know, always putting my subject in the middle of the frame. You know, if you want to take better images, you have to make them more interesting, more pleasing to the eye. So I never, you know, when I first started, really thought about how can I, you know, place my subject and kind of place things within the frame that just kind of gives it that oomph and just kind of makes it look better and more interesting, to where somebody, you know, will see that photo and it's like, oh, okay, this is a different kind of photo. It's not the typical, you know, photo that I see of just the person placed in the middle. So what I started to do was just practice, of course, and just experimenting. And you know, something I really realized is how I can utilize different things within my frame. Maybe it's a bush that's by a tree, you know, different lines with buildings and looking for symmetrical lines, and just how I frame my shot instead of just shooting, you know, straight on all the time, maybe coming from a lower angle or higher angle. So those are just ways that you can improve your composition. And honestly, it made a really big difference in my photography. And I felt like I kind of unlocked a new level, you know, when it came to my photography, because, you know, I was doing things that I didn't usually do. And I felt like my photos at that point looked more interesting, you know, and it wasn't just, you know, basic photos that, you know, we're used to seeing. So, you know, play around with your composition, try new things. And composition is just one of those things, like with a lot of the stuff that I'm talking about, it just takes time. You know, as you shoot more, I feel like you begin to see more. And like I was saying earlier, you start to slow down, which can help you improve and take better images, and you can compose your shots in different ways and better ways because you've slowed down and you just see things differently. So I feel like it just kind of comes with experience. All right, y'all, so moving on to number 4. So number 4 is take the time to understand your settings. Listen, this is crucial. RIP to all the shots I messed up because of not understanding my settings. RIP to all those shots. So listen up, y'all. If you don't understand your settings, you're going to ruin a shot. If it hasn't happened yet, it's going to happen if you truly don't understand your settings. Like, once I really understood my settings, and when I say that, I mean like knowing exactly what each thing does and truly knowing my camera. Like, I know what the f-stop is affecting. I know what the shutter speed is for. I know what ISO does to my image. So these are just basics that you need to know. And I feel like you really need to take the time to understand these things. And I have a video, I'm gonna link it in the card up top, where I explain how to shoot in manual mode, so that will help you understand your settings better, you know, your aperture, shutter speed, ISO. So if you want to check out that video, I'm gonna link it in the card up top. But take the time to understand your camera. Like, a lot of people, they don't, you know, just take the time to understand your camera. Like, you have to, you know, play around with your camera and shoot more to understand what the camera can do. You can't just go out there and just, you know, think you really understand your camera, because you're going to be put in a situation to where you just don't know what to do and you don't know how your camera works. One thing that I really struggled with my settings was my aperture, especially when I was shooting more than one person. I used to always, you know, they wouldn't be in focus because I didn't understand, you know, the distance you needed from the subject and just, you know, what aperture I needed to be at with my camera to get all of the subjects in focus, and also having those, you know, subjects on the same plane or whatever. But that's just something that I struggle with because I didn't understand settings. I didn't understand the basic stuff. So, you know, this is something that I watched YouTube videos and I took the time to learn. And I also practice around the house with my wife, my son, just anybody, my nieces, nephews. So you just got to put in the work. You just got to shoot with your camera more. When you're sitting around the house, just pick up your camera, play with your settings, and it's really gonna help you out. All right, y'all, so coming in at number 5, I have learn off camera flash. And I know somebody may be thinking, or they're gonna say like, oh, you don't have to understand off camera flash, you don't need it. Look, you're gonna be put in a situation to where you're probably gonna have to use flash. And like I was saying earlier, going into that first wedding that we had, I knew that I needed to understand, you know, flash, off-camera flash. Maybe not off-camera flash, but I needed to understand flash. So I started to practice with it, and it made a huge difference in my photos. If I wouldn't have used flash, then those photos would not look as good as they did, you know? And also, I learned a lot from a group. I think it's called Off-Camera Flash Lighting or something like that. It's a group by, I think his name is FJH Photo, but I learned so much in that group about, you know, flash and off-camera flash. Some people may not be with using flash or they don't like it at all, but me personally, I think it makes your images look better, especially in certain situations. For example, if, you know, me and my wife are shooting in harsh daylight and, you know, the background's just kind of blown out, I found that, you know, when I use off-camera flash, I'm able to control the ambient light, the background light, and, you know, get that exposure on my subject, and it just looks better to me. You know, you kind of have your subject pop and you're able to control the background. Now, personally, I like that look a lot with my photos. Flash is definitely one of those things, just if you want to take it to a new level, you know, kind of have your images stand out from the typical images that you see. I feel like Flash can do that for you, especially when you really dial it in and really start to learn and start experimenting and using rim lights and gels and different things like that. It can definitely take your photography to another level. So I have a question for y'all. I want to know, what's the one thing that really helped take your photography to another level? It could be anything. Leave a comment down below and let me know. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to drop a like, subscribe to the channel. I post new videos every single week, and I will see y'all in my next video. Peace.